Good evening, you're watching Hungary Report, kicking off public media and one's foreign language news hour. I'm Marsha Flum, thanks for watching us. The prime ministers of the V4 countries, as well as the members of the group called Friends of Cohesion, comprising the Central, Eastern and Southern European countries, negotiated over the EU's next 7-year budget cycle in Prague. Prime Minister Viktor Orbán said that Brussels' current proposal is unfair because it wants to cut cohesion funds by taking more money from poorer member states.
Heads of state and ministers of 17 countries negotiated over the 2021-2027 EU budget in Prague. The group called Friends of Cohesion aims to represent the interests of the beneficiary member states against net contributor countries and to raise awareness of the current issues in the cohesion policy. Visegrad countries held talks before the meeting as well. The proposal made by the outgoing European Commission for the next EU budget is unfair, and we want justice, Viktor Orbán said after talks with the V4 prime ministers. The prime minister emphasized that the draft, which is being debated today throughout Europe, is a proposal from the currently leaving committee, and it contains all its mistakes. The prime minister added that some things need to be changed in order for the budget to be fair. Among others, the system of refunds to rich net contributors must be abolished. In terms of justice, it has to be taken into account that a big part of the amount that Central Europeans receive as a source goes back to the Western countries. That must be reflected in the proposal. The third unfair thing is that they want to reduce cohesion. The poorer the country is, the more money is taken away from it, and the richer the country is, less money is taken away. In fact, there are some rich countries that are even better off. It is unfair, the Prime Minister said. Viktor Orbán also called for a fair position on climate neutrality. He said that it was clear that the general level of economic development determined the burden to achieve a carbon-efficient economy. Hungary is ready to have a carbon-neutral economy by 2050. But as he put it, they would like to see the source of this in the budget.
Another 2 direct flights connecting Budapest and the Chinese cities Xi'an and Chengdu will be launched, making the Hungarian capital the #1 spot in the Central European region, Péter Szijjártó said in Shanghai after talks with the chairman of the second-largest Chinese airline and some provincial leaders. The minister emphasized that most direct flights to China have departed from Prague so far, but this is going to change now. Billions of forints would be saved by the Hungarian state if more people used electronic payments. This is what the finance minister talked about after a meeting of the National Competitiveness Council. Mihály Varga said the board issued 6 recommendations for the government to reduce cash reserves. It is suggested, for example, that elderly people receive their pension onto a bank account, and companies with over 5 employees only pay the salaries by wire transfer. Flu vaccination is already available at general practitioners and will also be available in pharmacies in a few days. As in previous years, almost 1.5 million people will receive the vaccine for free this year, such as people over the age of 60, pregnant mothers, diabetic patients, or hospital workers.
Flu vaccinations are the reason why this man visited the doctor's clinic on Tuesday afternoon. He asks for the shot every year. Patients have been requesting the flu shot for days. The procedure only takes a few seconds. I get it for free. I work in a community, and in practice, I feel like it works, this man said. This fridge is filled with vaccines. They were ordered weeks ago. This practice has received 200 portions to start. 80 to 90% of vaccines are put to use here. Of course, there's always the option of ordering more, László Pidi said. The flu is incredibly infective. In Hungary, hundreds of thousands suffer from the flu every year. Recovery time can take weeks. Moreover, it can cause serious complications such as sinus, ear, or lung infections. According to the National Chief Medical Officer, the vaccine has no risks. These vaccines don't have living viruses. The immune response is caused by a bit of the type of influenza contained in the vaccines. It definitely does not cause disease, Cecilia Müller said. 1,300,000 individuals will receive the vaccine for free this year as well. The elderly, as well as little children, those expecting, those with diabetes, and those with lung, heart, and vascular system ailments. The vaccine must be requested from one's family doctor. Immunity develops over 2 weeks, so it's best to get it sooner rather than later. According to recurring models, we are before the epidemic. This is when it's best to get the shot. So we ask everyone to be mindful of their own health, as well as those that surround them. Prevention is key, Ildikó Horváth said. The vaccination against the flu will be available at drugstores in the coming weeks.
Hungarian, Japanese and French scientists working on nuclear waste storage were received by President János Áder at the Sándor Palace. The development of the method has already begun. Radioactivity on nuclear waste generated at the nuclear power plant would be reduced with the help of one of the equipment of the laser center. Nobel Prize winner Gerard Mourou estimates that with the help of the process, hazardous waste must be stored for a much shorter period of time than before. A development center for autistic children is being set up in a building of Híradó Children's Hospital in the 13th district. The goal is for children with autism to get treatments they need as soon as possible, and also to help families with autistic children accept the situation.
Christopher Balog is practicing math at the afternoon program at this school in Esztergom. Teachers, as well as his parents, pay special attention to this little grade 2 boy. He didn't learn how to speak until he was 6 years old. He started talking after he received specific training. This is what brought about change for him, the mother said. The Development and Methods Center at the Híradó Children's Hospital in Budapest helps children with autism spectrum disorder. At this new institution, autistic children can participate in personalized therapy. Countless therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, special education teachers, as well as masseurs already work with such children. These experts thought that if they jointly shared each other's experiences in the development of each child, they could render their knowledge into elements of practice, Anikó Nagy said. The president of the Together for Autism Foundation said that their goal is for those living with autism to access these developments as soon as possible.
Megérteni, elfogadni, segíteni.
To understand, to accept, and to help. These are the 3 goals summarized by the Autism Development and Methods Center, as the center will lend development programs to children as well as their families, which is really important, so that society will better understand autism through these endeavors, Szilvia Szijjártó Nagy said. Establishment of the center was also supported by the MOL Group. This year, the Together for Autism Foundation will host a sweets fair in the square before St. Stephen's Basilica in December, as per tradition. Funds gathered will aid the further development of the new center.
The castle of Veszprém was established on one of the hilltops of the city, built on 7 hills between the 10th and the 11th century. The castle district, with Baroque and neoclassical palaces, is home to many ecclesiastical, scientific and art institutions. Visitors can admire the St. Michaels Cathedral here, which was built on the foundation of the oldest episcopal cathedral in the country. The square is surrounded by impressive buildings such as the Archbishop's Palace or the Dubnicai Palace, which has been an exhibition venue since 2006. The winery of the Archdiocese of Veszprém awaits its pre-registered visitors throughout the year. The Diocese of Veszprém has been making wine since the 11th century. The grapes are processed using traditional technology. The wines age in casks for a minimum of 6 months, and then they are placed, bottled and stored in the cellar of the Archbishop's Palace. The building is the most beautiful building in the city, with a cellar system underneath. And that's all for now, but I'll be back tomorrow night at around the same time, and you can catch Hungary Reports online as well. Please stay tuned for our German, Russian and Chinese language news. Thanks for watching. Take care. Good night.